I do want to present to you more evidence of evil and that our battle is spiritual. It's not physical. And a ton of people are starting to wake up and realize that, of all races, really. Men and women are waking up to it. A few, when I say a ton of people, it's still a few compared to the massive. Because, once again, most people love evil. They love their hell. They love their misery. And they love trying to inflict their misery on other people. That's how they have a false sense of life. And so they cannot be helped. Let them suffer and die. That's on them. But there are a few who are waking up. And, you know, when I think about the blacks, there are a few blacks that are starting to wake up as well. They're like, They're thinking about it. You know, I mentioned to Jason about, he asked me, about the the blacks. The blacks, what's wrong with the blacks? Voted for the Democrat. And Wikipedia is reporting that African Americans have stronger support for the Democratic Party than any group has for either party. According to Wikipedia, African Americans have stronger support for the Democratic Party than any group has for either party. Voted 93% Democrats in 2012 presidential election, 89% Democrat in the 2016 presidential election, and 87% Democrat in the 2020 presidential election. I rest my case. You know you got to be on your mind. Talk about group thinking. That's group thinking. And it's a mess. If you want to be free, you must be willing to go at this alone. You cannot bring the crowd with you. You cannot bring one other person with you for this journey. You got to go alone. Be in the world, but not of it. You must be willing to stand alone. And you'll be able to deal with people there in a perfect way. The blame and white people, I have been sounding the alarm for years now that they're coming after you. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because they're jealous. That's all it is. Because if they were not jealous, they would not only not be coming after you, but they would be working along with you and making things better. So even when you give up your whatever you have, they don't add on to it. They make it worse because they're jealous of the white man. That's why they call you white supremacy, because inwardly they know that you are smarter than them. You're wiser. You're motivated. You creative. You're very creative, and they don't know how to do it. And rather than asking you how to do it, they rather run you out of town and destroy the town. The blazer, and here's an example of a so-called racist teacher, but I call her evil teacher. No such thing as racism, right? The Blazers reported that a teacher at an elementary school in Texas was fired after several racist, anti-white messages on her social media were picked up by conservatives and went viral. Watch this from Fox.
We were pretty much shocked.
Mesquite parent Marcus Andrews says he and his wife read concerning social media posts from a J.R. Thompson first grade teacher Monday evening. By Tuesday, Andrews learned the teacher was no longer with the district when Mesquite ISD released a statement. The district wrote, a teacher at Thompson Elementary posted a series of alarming racist statements to X, formerly known as Twitter. Mesquite ISD says it became aware of the posts at the end of the day Monday, the first day of the new school year. An investigation was launched immediately. Several Mesquite parents emailed Fox 4 now deleted screenshots of the teacher's social media posts. Her bio previously stated she is 29 and a black supremacist. Some of the tweets refer to the teacher threatening a white man's life for spending time with her sister. A screenshot of a text message the teacher posted says, "I'm trying to remain calm. She knows I'm racist. Come and kill him for me. I promise I'll help you hide the body. Bring all 4 of your guns." Another post says, quote, "I enjoy being racist. I'm never changing." Tuesday afternoon, we visited the address listed for the teacher in public records. Someone peeked through the blinds, but no one answered the door.
What the? Amazing. This is what's happening in your schools. And because mothers don't love their children, parents are no good today, they're going to send the kids to the school anyway. They're teaching critical race theory. It's not going to get better. Anger is being pushed as good, and anger is evil. Anyone who has anger has fear. Anyone who has fear has anger. And they're pushing it as good. Woe unto the man that called good evil or evil good. And if you think this is a rare thing, you have another thought coming. You have not been paying attention. Watch this from X.
This A&M professor asks, when is it okay to kill whites? New York professor says having a white nuclear family promotes white supremacy. Professor tweets that white people should commit mass suicide. College professor says kill cops, kill all white people, and kill the straights. Professor says all I want for Christmas is white genocide. Georgetown professor says all white people are racist. Trinity College professor calls white people inhuman. Let them f***ing die. College professor says believing in hard work is a white ideology. College professor says white people are conditioned to commit mass murder. A professor equates math with white privilege. A professor says white supremacist patriarchy is responsible for the Vegas shooting. Professors hold a white racism course at FGCU. USC professor calls for Holocaust against all white people. Professor says I'll teach my children to be cautious and distrust friendship with white people. Baltimore professor says white people need to personally give all of their money to black people. College professor says some white people may have to die to solve racism. College professor says white masculinity is a problem for America. Georgetown professor says all white people are racist. Rutgers professor was taken to the NYC hospital for psychiatric evaluation after he tweeted threatening to kill white people.
Amazing, huh? And yet, because the mothers don't love the children, she doesn't love the father of the children, you sacrifice your own children to the devil. It's not rare, folks. It's not rare. You're putting your children in danger when you send them to these schools. And this is why the blacks are suffering. It's not because of this fake idea of racism or slavery or Jim Crow or systemic racism. It's the hatred of the heart. They're jealous of whites. Look how the black women wear their hair now. They're jealous of the white woman's hair. And they got all this mess on their heads, looking like a mess. But they really look like a mess to try to prove something to the whites. It's not rare that one teacher is happening everywhere now, all over the place, and it's evil. And what do you think the outcome is going to be? If it's evil, and it is, call up South Africa, call your little friends over in South Africa, your white friends, and see what's going on. We showed you a video with thousands, what appeared to be thousands of black people dancing and chanting, kill the white man, kill the white woman, kill the boy. And they can get away with it. But if there had been thousands of white people chanting, kill the black, that's all we'll be talking about today. And yes, and yet, the white man's on the run. And remember when the Chinese virus thing happened and people were told to stay home? And a lot of people did. Now the blacks don't want to go back to work, according to the report. This is yet another reason I want to start a slave plantation. I want to reopen my plantation, and I want all the blacks to come down and live on the plantation so we can show you how to work, how to love work, and not resent it. And don't use any excuse not to go to work. Who don't want to work? I know the blacks don't. Not all, but most. Not all, because they get free stuff. The Democrats and others have been giving them free stuff to use them for a vote. That's all. And to be violent and destroy. That's the purpose of the blacks on Earth today. I want you to check out this headline from the LA Times. Remote work gave them a reprieve from racism. Remote work gave them a reprieve from racism. They don't want to go back. LA Times is reporting. Look at this photo. Remote work gave them a reprieve from racism. They don't want to go back to work. Black people don't love work anyway. What the? And you white folks have given them a reason not to go back to work.
LA Times also says many black workers found that remote work lessened the racism they faced on the job in 2021. Just 3% of black knowledge workers wanted to return to full-time in-office work, compared with 21% of white workers. LaRon Barton weighed his options. If he took a pay cut of $5,000, he could have a fully remote job that would let him roam the country and give him the flexibility he craved. Or he could keep his salary and stay at his current job. Patients at the hospital sometimes gave him funny looks, recalled Barton, who is black, and staff members questioned his competence. Working remotely during the pandemic showed him a whole different lifestyle, a break from the microaggressions and racist behavior he had to endure. Barton chose the pay cut. Workplace politics and discrimination can make the office an undesirable place to be.
That was from that article from the LA Times. They don't want to go back to work. I've told you 1,000 times and more that not all, but these blacks are lazy and trifling, and they've been made to believe they don't have to do it anymore, and they don't want to. Anything to get out of work. And then they complain when no one wants to hire them, because if you do hire them, they're going to complain and call you racist at work. And then they're not going to show up. And then I rest my case. What a mess. And last but not least, this thing about racism, just think about that. Racism is not even real. It's like an illusion. And it's being used for total destruction. A fake idea, a thought. It's like your whole mind is an illusion, right? This is what racism is. And they're driving it in the ground for destruction. And now you have so-called black homeschooling for all the wrong reason. CNN has reported that more black families are choosing to homeschool their children. More black families are choosing to homeschool their children as a form of resistance. Some families say they choose to homeschool because they were living in majority white school districts. So they're damned if they do it, they're damned if they don't. I don't give a darn if he does. Come home, Paul. I won't accept him. So CNN is reporting more black families are choosing to homeschool their children as a form of resistance They're resisting racism. Some families say they choose to homeschool because they were living in majority white school districts and wanted to teach their children to have confidence in black identity. Confidence in black identity. You think that the black children have been cast and held upon this earth? They're coming from their homes? It's going to get worse now. You ain't seen nothing yet. They about to homeschool them. Watch this from Pix 11.
New numbers from the start of the pandemic last spring show overall homeschooling families of students K through 12 more than doubled from nearly 5.5% to 11%. The number of black families choosing to independently homeschool more than quadrupling. Cheryl Field Smith is associate professor at the University of Georgia and also co-founder of the Black Family Homeschool Educators and Scholars, a research and education group. She's also author of the book Exploring Single Black Mothers' Resistance Through Homeschooling. Even before the pandemic, Field Smith says concerns about racially hostile environments and very little black history taught in schools contributed to a large number of black parents turning to homeschooling.
It's the education we thought we were going to get when we desegregated. Access to the things that are going to enrich our children, not only their brains, but their spirits.
Christina Garrett agrees.
As a mom, with 4 sons, I want my boys to be able to be validated, on an everyday basis, that you're handsome, you're amazing, that you can accomplish anything, the sky's the limit for you, and there's no other voice that is telling them alternate.
Lord have mercy. May God have mercy on those children. They thought they were catching hell. They got a little break when they went to school. 24 hours now. Put on your armors. The war is coming. Put on your shield. The war is coming. Remember the talk? Remember the talk? Did you have the talk with your children? Black parents are screwing up their own children. It ain't got nothing to do with the white man. So they're taking them because they don't want to be around all this. They're the one that's violent in the school. It ain't the whites. A spiritual battle, a warfare between good and evil. LeBron Barton was a guest on the JLP twice several years ago. I don't remember, but I'm being told. I don't know, but I've been told Jesus passed through Jericho.